Welcome back to Gallery Gaming. Today we're going to talk about all the pros and cons that have come with the Argos update now that it's been about a week and a half. There have been a lot of drama raised with the Argos update and the difficulty of leveling up to meet the content they brought out as a free-to-play player in Lost Ark. So today we're going to look at the things that they did good and the things that they really messed up on with this update, making it feel extremely pay to win. But first, don't forget to subscribe for more, like if you enjoy it, comment if you wish to say anything. Now, overall, the event that they brought out is very good. There's a lot of good items in the event shop to help boost not only your main, if you're already in tier 3, but also help you push your alts up. These alts will help feed your main once you get them into tier 3, along with feed your account with gold and silver, which are both very precious resources right now. They brought engravings into the game, and on top of that, they made them not bound to your account, so it really helped equalize the market on engravings, minus legendary engravings, obviously. Like Mayhem, for example, dropped from over 3,500 down to under 300. This is a massive drop, and this is across the board on all classes and all engravings since this event came out. It's helped bring down the cost of upgrade materials by adding another source to get them. Although personally I would say it's not nearly enough, but anything is nice. Now, me, I'm extremely unlucky. I've had over 100 fails on tier 3. Got a few different pity upgrades. 3 out of the 5 pieces going from plus 12 to 13 were pity upgrades, with my weapon now sitting at 100% artisan without the stones to get it up to 13. So that'll get taken care of soon. The event also includes things like card packs and a select legendary card pack containing legendary cards from some of the top tier card sets as well. So it will help you complete your set. 4 to 5 weeks worth of this event, meaning 4 or 5 specific legendary cards to help you complete the set that you're working on from these cards down the line. I wouldn't use them until you're almost complete on that set to fill in what you're missing. You never know what cards you'll get along the way that may end up being unusable if you use these packs now. It shows that they are making an effort, and it is at least a push in the right direction, because this event is very good for the community. But now onto the biggest issue that has come with this update. The release of a 1370 and more raid, which has a small amount, very few people up at this item level. It makes the player base feel like they need to spend cash to get where they need to be to do the new content that was introduced. Because for anyone without crazy good luck like one of my buddies who only failed like 15 times getting to 1385, but without that luck or a bunch of gold from early buying of crystals and then reselling them, or getting lucky drops that you can sell, which are rare, the vast majority of the player base aren't up there at 1370, and they've already had this information before, because in Korea the 1340 to 1370 push was the hardest push that they had recorded, where they had a lot of drop off. They want to get us to the end game content where their retention is, but they didn't fix the issue, and they actually made it harder for us by removing more sources of drops and materials than was there initially, and then giving us content in only 1 month to get there. A little bit too quick on that. But this has caused a lot of dissatisfaction among the player base, because nobody's able to get there reasonably, and they're releasing content in a free-to-play game that the free-to-play players can't get to without spending cash and really pushing the pay-to-win perspective on the game. And it's not like spending 50 to 100 bucks, it's going to be hundreds and thousands of dollars. So this has been a huge issue. But the devs have said some things to help counter it and hopefully help. Now, Smilegate and Amazon have come out and apologized for having brought out too much content too early that required players to push in a manner which wasn't feasible in the game currently, and that they plan to fix this issue and bring out more ways to get more mats quicker. Now, they're going to be launching the competitive PvP, which has rewards with honing materials, bringing in the shop for PvP. They're bringing out another boss event with more materials available. They're going to be pushing back the next raid, or at least that's what they're talking about doing, so that more players can get there and be ready for it. They've accepted that they messed up. They messed up hard, and they don't want the player base to feel the need to spend money to play. But they've already done that. Now, personally, I'll hold my feelings on how they may be forcing players to pay cash. And the biggest reason that I feel that this was not an accident is because they did the exact same thing on Korea and Russia. And already had the information in regards to how hard it is to push and the dead zone of 1340 to 1370. They made the same mistake again and tried to counter it with the event, but it wasn't nearly enough of a counter. Their current event does offer a lot, but not enough. The content was pushed out too fast for the amount of material that they were giving us. Now, if they had a more farmable event for the first month, or required less to upgrade, like the honing update that they keep mistakenly putting into the patch notes, they just need to add something. Either a lot more materials to have access to, like they have everywhere else and did when this content was launched initially, or, give us better success rates. I'm not saying we need 100% all the time, especially not in tier 3, tier 1, tier 2. That would be okay, like what they do in the other servers, or even over 50% all the time. But since this helps keep the bots from running everything and growing rapidly, nobody wants to see bots in tier 3 spamming everywhere. But it's also keeping the free-to-play players held back as well, and widening the divide between free-to-play and pay-to-play players. I've got no issue with pay-to-win players. If you've got the money and you want to do it, be my guest. Problem comes when you put new content behind a figurative paywall of thousands of dollars and say you aren't forcing your player base to spend money to do the new content that you just released. That's where the biggest problem is. So, do I think they will fix this? Yes, I honestly do. They have already come out and stated things that they are going to be trying and they're working on and talked to in their conference that both Amazon and Smilegate had in Seattle. It was just a sloppy update that the player base as a whole wasn't ready for. It could have been with a few things done to help push us, but I do think that they will work on it and get it where it needs to be. I don't think the game would be as successful as it is in the rest of the world if they couldn't hone into their player base and keep the majority of them happy and having fun. Their correction to this will determine the mindset of how people look at the game going forward and how much they trust the developers as a whole. They have forced themselves into an almost make or break corner by making it as hard to upgrade in all the tiers. The walls just before pushing into each tier that pretty much stops you for an increasingly long amount of time with nothing to do besides the same few activities. Then releasing content that is behind the longest of those walls, that the only reasonable way to pass is with large sums of money, large amounts of luck, or a good bit of time. If they can fix this, which I honestly think they will, it will help gain the support of the player base as a whole. So let's hope they get everything on track with their adjustments. Gaining more honing materials and the ways of acquiring them is key. This game has a lot of potential to be one of the best games on the market for MMOs, especially as a free-to-play game. It's hard to compete with the likes of Final Fantasy XIV, and they aren't really in the same category since Final Fantasy is a subscription and box cost game. So on that note, let's hope they get everything rocking and moving right, and have fun in this game. Thank you for your time. Enjoy whatever world you're jumping into, and bye.